Talking about the YCS Shark deck, yes, the Challenger. We have some Cyber Dragons for you too. A Dinosaur Special and Exosister. Make sure you guys smash and grab out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. How in the world did Sharks manage to climb the apex? Well, I mean, the deck's actually pretty good, right? Hand Shark is a really solid card, and when you can do your Armored Exceeds package in the deck, it's actually just kind of free. Also, I think a lot of people kind of forget that Stealth Kraken makes everything on the field a water monster. So technically, if you just draw Goes Match Stealth Kraken about 95,000% of the day, you're probably going to be winning a lot of those free matchups. And I know that's a lot to really think about out here, but it's actually pretty solid. I see we also opted to play some Forbidden Droplets in here as well, which, you know, this board-breaking potential usually is going to put this in a very good position. And they actually opted for triple copies of the Foolish Burial Goods. Honestly, Goods being able to drop down the ice barrier so you can kind of start to do a lot of the little more free value plays that this deck feels like it kind of gives you. Yeah, understandable actually. Like, ice barrier is an insane card for this deck. Being able to literally dump and select, you know, anything that you need to utility back that's level 5 or higher, well, I mean, just kidding. It's literally best resource ever. Hi, little Abyss Shark. Really glad that, you know, you can kind of filter out the goods here. We're also only playing the one Lifeless Leaf Fish. We are doing one Crystal Shark. We are playing an in-house Gamma Seal, which is actually also pretty good. Don't underestimate the free value that the little Gammy Seal actually kind of brings to the table. And of course, opting for 2 talents. I mean, post-side decking, you have the double thrust to bring in with these if you really need. But it once again comes down to, you know, am I going to need this for which matchup? What's going to be the best options for X matchup? It's a lot of the same standard stuff that we're pretty used to seeing. So, good stuff. What in the world is this? So, Cyber Dragons have been making a little bit of a comeback, in my personal opinion. I've kind of noticed that a lot more people have been opting to play this deck, and I think that's a good thing. Honestly, some of the things that you can do with the Cyber Dragon toolbox is actually pretty impressive. I mean, hey, it's still one of the best free options to contact out of something in the extra monster zone, which, I mean, a free Chomp Chomp can kind of get you there. And also, Clockwork Knight, all right? The fact that this makes everything on the field become a machine monster for you to be able to get off or immediately answer with, you know, Mr. Chimeratech Fortress Dragon, because there's no monster in the game that Fire is really doing right now unless they're going to Promethean Princess pop a Cyber Dragon. And I'm going to be honest with you, if you are making a Fire Duelist pop a Cyber Dragon off of its special summon, you're probably in an exceedingly good position, in my personal opinion. You know, being able to deploy and put that pressure on your opponent is actually super invaluable. I mean, it's not like you don't have other friends that attempt to become Cyber Dragons anyway, so that, you know, you can continuously keep this up on your opponent, because that's, you know, everything here is doing that job for you. Outside of that, hi, Duality. How are you? I think a lot of people also kind of underestimate how stupid good Duality is for this deck as well. You know, hey, being able to tag out into something a little bit more devastating typically will win you some free games. And, you know, it's also, you gotta understand, you're playing Cyber Dragons. Like, you're going second, contact, fusion, go. Exosisters. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. Exosisters have felt like they are dead, in my opinion. I'm not to say, like, oh, we're going to scoop this deck up and call it a day. Yeah, actually we are. Now, the reason why I think this deck had a good chance to win this particular event that it chose to play is Dimension Shifter is an insane card, like, especially when you're looking into more of like the localized levels that these particular events can find themselves playing in. Being able to shifter your opponent and start taking away the graveyard thank you, Fire. I'm really glad that we can actually have this conversation here. I also see, hi, Necro Valley, how are you? I find it funny that when you're looking at a deck like this and you're like, oh, okay, you know, like, what is Exosister afraid of? They're afraid of Nibiru. You know, the big clunky rock in the sky does actually end up potentially ruining these players' days, and they have to make some decisions out here. You know, do we continue dedicating, you know, what hand traps are we afraid of? You don't see an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring in this main deck, do you? No. It's Nibiru and it's Ghost Bell. Those are, I mean, I guess, do they really care about getting shifted? No, I don't think so. Or, you know, they can cross out an Imperm if they really need to. I guess this card really just depends on what they're going to open and what they're worried about. And most of the time, I guarantee you, it's going to be a Nibiru. We're also side decking. Hey, Crows, how are you? Once again, I want to re-emphasize Necro Valley being an insane card in this deck. And we also have some Solemn Judgments in this deck as well. So, kind of pick your poison. You know, what kind of method of madness do you want to play in order to, you know, capitalize on the meta? Good stuff. Huh. How many times have we seen Magis Spectres on this channel? Not as much as I feel like I want to see at this point. I do want to be honest with you. Magis Spectre's kind of looking at like the rest of the Pendulum decks in the room right now. I don't know if this particular build is all that super. I do think possibly extending out. I've seen a lot of other builds that have tried like extending out the Draco Slayer package in the deck, and you try to open up the doors a little bit more and try more of that package. Obviously, yes, we are doing Dynamite, but you're still doing the Triple Majesty's Pegasus in this as well. So it's not like, you know, this thing isn't acting as a Magis Spectre card as it is, you know, because it is. One little free gimmicky thing that this build is doing that I do think is kind of funny is we can Secret Village our opponent, yes, because you have so many spellcasters in your extra deck. In addition to, you have a free spellcaster right here as well. You know, don't underestimate the ability for this card to come up, because most of the time right now with how things are looking, I mean, if no Fire King Island for your opponent, no Sinful Spoils garbage. Suddenly, okay, well, you know, going first Secret Village, oh, well, what's my opponent supposed to do? I also see that we are opting for one Tempest, one Tornado, but post side decking, we also have an additional Tempest coming on into the deck here as well to kind of help you out and do your thing. But, you know, it's actually kind of refreshing to see Magis Spectres, you know, coming into the arena here and kind of challenging fire meta, you know? All these little guys saying, hey, we can't be targeted, you know, is pretty good. Well, and, you know, can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, so you gotta love the little free clauses. And, hi, dinosaurs, how are you? I'm really happy to see somebody did opt to call Kaito Patara up on the phone and tell them to get their butt back into this deck, because this and the little Hornsaurus play with a little polymerization, I think, is one of my little favorite options. But I see that we have another culprit down here trying the Secret Village lock in our decks. And, you know, I gotta say, I think it's funny. Hey, you know, Dahark is a spellcaster. Not you, Dagaris. I really wish you were a spellcaster. You'd be kind of cool. But, I mean, you got some little cool options kind of access. But, like, we've really reached that point now in the game where you've got a deck that can beam out a field spell from its deck, and then you just got to generically access your spellcaster monster. 1850 is not really that hard to get over, but as long as it stuns your opponent and does not give them a moving advancement on any sorts of play, then I feel like you've done your job. You know what I mean? And it's also not like you don't have a readily available dark monster that you're already to toggle on into out of the Kaito Patara. Anyway, you know, so that's kind of something a little bit cute to kind of think about out here when you're looking at this and, you know, just considering your utility options for what's available to you. Some very, very interesting decks this week. I will say that I'm enjoying these different builds. There's a lot of fire this, fire that, but like when a YCS comes through and you get the chance to see a little bit of something different, I mean, you'd just be happy to see. You guys have a good rest of your day, all right? Peace.
Page
patrons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.